analogy that I have used in my discussions with them is, it is like begetting a child, creating a child, putting it in a dark closet so that it never sees the light except for through under the door maybe, giving it a rotten apple, and the child has never tasted an apple before. So the only thing the child realizes about an apple is the rotten apple you've handed it. And you do this because you want to experience the rotten apple but not have to actually eat it yourself, but you want to know what it tastes like. So the child, in its innocence and not knowing of what a real apple tastes like, continuously eats this rotten apple in a darkened room, and then experiences all the displeasure or even the portions of the apple that may taste semi-sweet, but yet never knows what a real apple tastes like. Only the parent that begot the child knows what the real apple tastes like, and that parent never wants to actually eat the rotten apple itself. I know this sounds kind of crude, but in my conversations with them, these analogies have come forth, and I've asked them, and they've said, yes, basically that's the truth of it, that we do not want to taste the rotten apple. We want you to do it for us. And then when you are done, we will take you out of the darkness of the closet, and we will bring your essence back into our own, and we will gain the experiences of what a rotten apple tastes like without ever having to taste it ourselves. But the trouble is that the displeasure and the immense sadness and all of the things that have transpired throughout humankind since the beginning of its guided evolution by these souls has experienced so much emotional suffering in these realms, and this emotional suffering is not actually brought back to these oversouls. They experience the memory of the emotional suffering, but while you're experiencing the emotional suffering, they are not experiencing it. But yet the primal self of D, of which all the universe comes from, our true primal self, experiences every emotion as its own. And this has brought an immense amount of suffering and sorrow for the first time in Dee's evolution, within time and space, and even before duality emerged, that she has ever not wanted to exist. She's always known, I exist and I'm grateful to exist. I don't know what I am. I am endless. I am that I am. And I want to experience the joy and the gratitude of experiencing what it means to be. And she has always evolved in this, in her awareness. And time and space, it was the next step in her evolution of duality and being able to interact with her own self. And through the choices of these self-aware souls, these 73 out of the billions of angels who never incarnate, she has experienced the depths of what it means to be, but to not be grateful to be. To exist and not find joy or gratitude in existing. There are many people who say that they do exist in this world and find immense amount of joy and gratitude in it. That is great, and I'm glad they do, except for the reason they do is because they do not fully understand that even their most beautiful, satisfying moments of joy in this life are the semi-sweet portions of the rotten apple that they're eating, and they don't realize, compared to the apple that is perfect and blemishless and truly joyful, they have nothing to compare it to. And they never will, because in reincarnation, you then reemerge to your oversoul. This has also been expressly disapproved of by the billions of other souls, to the small group of oversouls that have been incarnating their offspring into the lower realms. In fact, I have been told that it has caused the 73, or at least a portion of the 73, to feel a sense of loss of innocence and unworthiness to associate with the angels who never ever do this, because these angels who never embody themselves into offspring into the denser realms also feel the suffering and the emotional pain that has been brought to the primal self when, in the state of Merkaba, they shift their awareness back to the primal self of the One, and they feel this immense pain that has been brought to that primal self by these angel oversouls through the practice of reincarnation. I have tried to find a reason that could justify what they have been doing for the billions of years of incarnating offspring into lower realms. I've asked them, I said, well, is there a reason why the darkness must be probed? The denser realms must be experienced. Could you not experience a fullness of joy if you didn't understand the depths of sorrow? And I have been told that no. And in fact, there is no end to the scope of which joy can be evolved in the experience of it. It was not done to teach them the opposite of it. It was done just purely out of a curiosity of what the rotten apple tastes like. And they did this because even though they are one literally with the light around them, we are all one with the light around us, they had began to see themselves as, even though they can interact in oneness with the light around them, that the light around them is not really who they are, which is a lie. Duality is an illusion. Time and space is an illusion. All come from the primal, deathless, primal self of D that exists both beyond time and space and within time and space. And they, as souls, focal points of observational awareness that had shaped light around them in an embodiment form of more subtle light, had seen themselves as, because they can act for their own selves, they are somehow separate, and they are not. That is an illusion. And so in their ignorance of who they truly are beyond time and space, they did not see that the suffering, the sorrow, and the lack of gratitude that is created, the joylessness that has been created throughout the billions of years of human evolution and the evolution of the earth, and especially in the past, they told me 60 million years. They do not see that these experiences of emotional suffering and pain through the animals and through the humans and through all of death had never existed within the essence of D before these 73 oversouls begin the practice of incarnating their offspring into lower realms. D never knew what it meant to die. She's deathless, yet the experience of death, suffering, pain, and a lack of a fullness of joy has been brought to the primal self of D because of these oversouls. And these experiences are forever etched within time and space, and forever etched within D as what it means to experience the joy of forever existing. And this may seem harsh, but this I have found in my communications with those from the other side who are in higher realms. This is the truth of reincarnation. The Buddha is from one of these four groups, in fact, from what I've referred to as Group 2, came into the world incarnated to teach people that life is suffering, existence is suffering through old age, death, and sickness. But the Buddha never taught why. See, the states of suffering come about because in the lower realms we experience these things, and intuitively, even though it is beyond our own perception of awareness, the soul that you are, that has been begotten from one of these oversouls, knows that it is forever deathless and eternal, and desires endlessly, as a microcosm of the macrocosm of D, just like every soul, every angel, to forever experience joy in your existence. And that joy cannot be experienced in its fullness or without pain and sorrow in these lower realms. Pain and sorrow are a byproduct of what they wanted to experience. They are the rotten apples. And the Buddha knew this. But the Buddha did not tell people why pain and suffering exists in the universe. It exists as a perception that has come out of their desire, these oversouls, to probe the denser realms and then strip their offspring of the one thing that should never be stripped from any soul, its ability to act for itself when their lifetimes are over. And this is what the angelic realm of the billions of angels that are not oversouls, this is why they disapprove of it. Once a soul is begotten, it is a microcosm of the deathless self, and it forever should be able to act for itself, not have its individuality stripped from it. And the reason